What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 161. And today, I don't know what the hell we're doing because Jason told me he's got this Hall of Fame idea. And here we go with the show. So, with me tonight, the mastermind of the show, his name is Jason Ashby. Jason, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Fantastic, Joe. I'm doing well. World Series has come and gone. Congratulations to the Dodgers. Thank you for beating the Yankees and not making them the team of New York. So appreciate that. And yeah, now we're here to talk about the Hall of Fame. Um, Basically, I have put together a very long and extensive list of players who are currently on the ballot, will be on the ballot, and aren't yet on the ballot. And the idea is to discuss their candidacy. And, some of these guys are going to be slam dunk yeses, slam dunk nos, and some of these guys are going to be maybes. It'll be a good discussion. But I basically have everybody starting from like Billy Wagner, who is on his 10th year of the ballot, all the way down to freaking, Bobby Witt Jr., who has only played in 3 seasons. So, and everyone in between. So, it should be a good conversation.
Yeah, this sounds like it's going to be quite an exhausted list. When you told me about this idea, I just started making what I thought was a completely different list. I was just like, let me just take a look at the ballot and think about some guys that just recently retired, and let me talk about some legends that are still playing but probably are already in if they retired tomorrow. So I've got some names on my list as well, probably not as many as yours. Mine didn't even fill an entire page. So who knows? Let's kick this thing off. Let's talk about the 2025 Hall of Fame ballot. I looked at it and I found 6 names that I would put down on a ballot this year if I were voting. I want to see how many you had.
So I right now I just have I have the list. So this is the list of so we start with Billy Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 10th year. Put him in. He's in.
Yes, he's in.
He's in.
He's in, which makes an argument later on that we're probably going to have really interesting, but I digress.
Yes. So Andrew Jones is on his 8th year. Last year he had 61% of the ballots. I personally don't think he goes in, but I mean I can see where he squeaks in. I just don't know that he belongs in.
I think just the opposite. I think this dude is well worth being in the Hall of Fame. He was
He's
the best center fielder in the National League. He was the best
Yeah,
center fielder in baseball, not named Ken Griffey Jr. for an entire generation.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of bias because I hate the Braves, but
Yeah,
I guess
I can
he had a
understand
peak.
that, but
He had a peak. He definitely
yeah,
had a peak. Um, yeah. All right. I guess I wouldn't be irate if he was in.
he
Uh,
was the second one on my list of on the ballot for multiple years that I would vote for. So Billy Wagner and Andrew Jones are the top two for me.
okay. Next is Carlos Beltran. He was on 57% of the ballots. He's on his 3rd year. Um, I feel like if look, I know there was the whole trash can thing, whatever. I think if Andrew Jones is in, I think Beltran's in. Like,
I agree, and that was going to be my argument. Is if I'm putting Andrew Jones in, I have to put Carlos Beltran in.
yeah.
So he was the third, and the final one who was on my ballot who was on the ballot for multiple years that made my cut.
Okay. Yeah, the others, so then you have A-Rod and Manny. Like, I feel like they kind of loop together. I don't think they're gonna get in. Yeah, I agree. It's a shame because, they're generational talents, but they ruined their careers. So
Mm-hmm.
uh Chase Utley will be on his 2nd year of the ballot. He got 28, almost 29% of the votes last year.
Fuck him.
Um,
Fuck
yeah, yeah. I I but
This might be my Andrew Jones hill to die on. Like, if you're saying that you might be biased because you hate the Braves, I'm going to counter with I hate the Phillies. So screw Chase Utley and his Hall of Fame credentials.
Yeah, I mean, look, what a 6-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger. I could see it. He's only on his
That's
second
it.
year, so he's gonna be on there for a while. I could see where he gets in. It may be more on the intangibles than the numbers, but who knows? Omar Vizquel, no.
No.
Jimmy
I mean,
Rollins,
great defender and unbelievable like longevity of his career, but in that like 30-year career that he had, he still didn't even get close to 3,000 hits. So no,
yeah,
he's
no.
no.
Jimmy Rollins, no. Bobby Abreu, no.
Bobby Abreu is an interesting case though. He's got like 400 homers and like 300 steals or something.
Yeah, was 288 home runs and 400 steals with a
Yeah,
95 on
that's what
base,
it was.
291 batting average. Yeah, he had a great career. I don't think he had the peak that like some of these other guys had.
No, I think he's a Hall of Very Good. He's going to be on like an equivalent to one of my guys later on that we'll probably talk about.
Yep. Rounded out with Andy Pettit, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez, Torrey Hunter, and then David Wright. Where are you on David Wright?
No. I
So
love
that
David Wright. I love him. He's our captain. Retire his
yeah,
number in City Field, but no, he's not a Hall
I,
of Famer.
I agree. I agree actually, but the I remember last year during the vote, like everybody was making a case for him, and I was like, really? Like, if spinal stenosis wasn't a thing, maybe, but like he derailed, really 2.5, 3 years of his career because of injury.
Even with those 2.5, 3 years, like he's not getting in. He's not
Yeah.
getting in. He's not breaking 2,500 hits. He's didn't even have 1,000 RBIs. He had 196 steals. That's not. That's not.
Yeah. You know,
It's not
uh,
great. He was
2-time Silver
again
Slugger,
very
7-time
good.
All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner. Like he has he would have had I think it would have been a lot closer if he was able to put in some full years, towards the end there and really solidify himself as a staple at third base, but he wasn't able to do that.
Nope.
All right. So now we're gonna hit on the first timers that are coming onto the ballot for 2025, and this is where it
I
gets.
have 3 of those as well.
Oh yeah. I have 2, and then Selmy on the third. I think the first 2 are pretty slam dunk. Ichiro and CC Sabathia.
Correct. Those are 2 of the 3.
Yeah. Then you have Dustin Pedroia.
No.
Okay.
No,
I
Dustin
I I,
Pedroia is not it.
I feel like he's on the same wavelength as like a Chase Utley, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
they're like the same. So like, but I feel like if one gets in, the other has to get in because I feel like they're the same kind of guy. But actually, Pedroia has more accolades. He's got an MVP. He's got a Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's got a couple of rings.
a couple of rings. Yep. Silver Slugger, 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove. Like, but he also like he had a very quick peak and then he just kind of fizzled.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Kinsler
No.
and then Felix
No.
Hernandez.
That's the guy.
Okay.
King Felix is the one that I was like, yeah, if he wasn't on Seattle, his numbers would be a whole lot better. I know he only has like 170 wins in his career.
169, 136 losses, 342 ERA, about 2,700 strikeouts or 2,700 innings pitched, 2,500 strikeouts.
Yeah, I like it. I like Felix Hernandez. I think his career got cut just a little bit short. He didn't go to another team and continue for like 3 seasons after he left Seattle. Once he left Seattle, he was done because
Right.
Seattle just used and abused him. No Cy Youngs, no playoff appearances to
He
speak
has he
of.
has he has one Cy Young
Oh, that's right. He has the one Cy.
in 2010. Yeah.
Yeah. I I would vote for him. I don't know that he's gonna get in, but I would vote for him.
I feel like the 15 seasons and really the last three don't even count because he only made, a handful of starts or and they weren't very good. Um,
Yeah, but then you're telling me he got somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 strikeouts in 12 years.
right. Yeah. So I think he's gonna be an interesting case. I think he'll
Mhm.
be a really interesting case to watch, throughout the years. I don't think I'm definitely not a first time ballot, but it'll be a fun case to watch, see what he does.
Yeah, he may be coming on to the ballot with CC and Ichiro, but he will not be going into the Hall of Fame with CC and Ichiro.
No, no, sir.
I have a list of recently retired players. Some of them are obvious slam dunks like Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. I
Yeah.
assume that they were on your list somewhere.
Yes. So those are the first time 2025 ballots. I had 2026, projected 2027, projected 2028. Uh Run through it real quick. In 2026, we're projected to see Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, Alex Gordon, and Matt Kemp.
No, none of them. Not a single
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks, Ryan Braun again tarnished.
Yes.
Like because he could have been
I
MVP
don't
or
even
Rookie of the
I
Year.
don't even think that he would be I don't even think that he would make Hall of Fame without the PED suspension and all of the garbage that went along with that, but
It
it
would have been
certainly is an absolute no the moment
right,
that happened.
right. 2027, our projected first timers. We're going to see John Lester, Ryan Zimmerman, and Buster Posey.
Buster Posey I have on this list.
Okay.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think with 3 rings, a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, all the All-Star appearances, a couple of Gold Gloves along the way, I, I think he's in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he is. Again, his career was kind of cut short in the middle. With that nasty slide on home plate, and
Mhm.
took out a bunch of games there. But yeah, I think even in a short span of 12 years, he put together a Hall of Fame career, I think.
Absolutely. The other one that was interesting was what was the first name you said there? John Lester.
John Lester.
That's an interesting name. I don't think that he makes it. I think he's the Hall of Very Good, but he certainly has numbers to speak of.
You
And
know,
he is the pitcher from the 2015 Cubs or the 2016 Cubs that like
yep.
everybody remembers.
His numbers, like, so if you look at his numbers compared to Felix Hernandez, they're pretty close. He has more innings pitched than Felix, a few less strikeouts, more. He got 200 wins. So he has more wins than Felix. And
200 wins alone catapults him pretty high up the rankings
yeah,
to get
yeah.
in.
So, 5-time All-Star. He won 3 rings, and he was the NLCS MVP. I, I think if Felix was in, I think you have to make a case for John Lester.
Okay.
In 2028, we're projected to see Albert Pujols slam dunk,
Mm-hmm.
Yadier Molina, Robinson Cano, Bartolo Colon, David Price, Adam Jones, and Jose Bautista.
Okay. Obviously Pujols is in.
Right.
I have softened quite a bit on my Yadier Molina stance in the last couple of years. There was a point where I swore Yadier Molina was not a Hall of Famer, and anybody who would want to put him in the Hall of Fame was crazy.
I I
I
I was
still don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but I think it's a little bit closer now.
I think he's gonna get in just because, I mean, 19 seasons, 10-time All-Star, like 9-time Gold Glove. His his offensive numbers obviously are not up
They're
to par.
terrible. They're
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, but I think it. I think the voters are gonna see. Are gonna know what he meant to the St. Louis Cardinals, to that pitching staff. Like, I think he finds a way in. I think if Joe Mauer got in, I think he's gonna get in.
Joe Mauer won 3 batting titles, sir.
I understand
That
that,
is disrespectful to Joe Mauer.
there's two sides to the ball though. So, like,
And Maurer was a good defender too.
yeah, I mean, look, but Molina played for 20 years. Like, that's a
Mhm.
long time to be
It's a
behind the
long
plate
time. And
and
that's one of the
never.
things that softened me on it was that when he and Wainwright set the record for, it was either most innings as a battery or most games started as a battery, or like
Yeah,
some ridiculous stat that they had broken. I'm like, all right, that's really difficult not to tell the story of baseball without
yeah,
both of those guys. I can agree that Wainwright might deserve to get into the Hall of Fame more than Molina, but
yeah. But I think and the thing is, Molina never played another position. It's not like he
no.
moved to first base or some or became a DH or whatever. He was a catcher for all those 20 seasons, which is
Mhm.
just incredible. It's
Mhm.
amazing he can even still walk.
There's one name left on my recently retired list. It's probably not on your Hall of Fame list because he retired this year. But my question is, where's Joey Votto?
So the next is the recently retired list who are not on the ballot yet: Adam Wainwright, Joey Votto, Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz, Corey Kluber, Miguel Cabrera, Evan Longoria, and Zach Greinke.
Zach Greinke's an interesting case. Obviously, Cabrera's in. Joey Votto, I would certainly vote for, and I think he will make it.
I think he will.
Um, Wainwright, we just talked about, but that last one, that's the interesting one.
225 wins.
Greinke.
Yeah. Cy Young, six-time All-Star, six-time Gold Glover, two-time Silver Slugger, and a two-time ERA champ.
What's
Um,
his lifetime ERA?
349. He
That's
pitched
better
over
than Pettit.
he pitched over 3,000 innings and almost got to 3,000 strikeouts. He was like just short by like 20.
Okay, so like one more year and he would have one more month and he would have been
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2020 shortened his shit. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So I could
Yeah,
see
I
it.
think he's in. I think he's
Yeah.
in.
Again, if you're saying Felix and John Lester, I think Greinke has to be in the same conversation.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. What about
I have a
current guys that are still playing?
huh?
What about current guys that are still playing, or have we
Yep.
not gotten to that list?
Okay, so here am I likely to retire soon, and this is a bit of a list. Uh, and so again, some of these, these are just names that came to me as guys who are
Hmm?
getting up there in age, who are probably going to see the end soon. Justin Turner, Carlos Santana, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Charlie Morton, Rich Hill, Craig Kimbrell, David Robertson, Aroldis Chapman, Paul Goldschmidt, Andrew McCutchen, Chris Sale, Jose Abreu, Kenley Jansen, and JD Martinez.
Okay. There were a bunch on that list that were on my two lists here, which
Yep.
is currently playing but already in. Like they could retire tomorrow and walk into Cooperstown.
Right.
That's Verlander,
Verlander, Kershaw, and Scherzer in.
and I'm gonna put two more guys on that list:
Okay.
Kenley Jansen and Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I was having this conversation with Ben today, and I said, "Are those guys Hall of Famers right now?" And he said, "I don't know. I'd have to look at the all-time saves list." Well, I happen to do that. That's why I say these guys are in. You know the first two. You know that it's Mariano Rivera. You know that it's Trevor Hoffman. The next guy is Lee Smith. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And then it's these two guys
Yeah.
all time
Yeah.
in the sport. And if I'm putting Billy Wagner in, who's like ninth, I have to put these guys in. So they're Hall of Famers for me.
So, like I've never been a true believer in war, because it's made up, but I know the voters do believe in it, and uh, you know, Billy Wagner's war is 27.7. Kenley is at 22, and Craig Kimbrell is also at 22. So they're behind Wagner in terms of war, or whatever that means for anybody. But I agree in terms of volume and ranking up in the saves. Yeah, they have to be in.
Yeah, and I think they're by far this generation's best closers. Aroldis Chapman is an interesting case, but I don't think he's got the save numbers to get in. I think he's just going to go down as a nice story of the guy who threw 105.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Justin Turner,
No,
um, you know,
he's not quite.
he's not going in, but he's a nice story though. Like again, he's gonna be like a Chase Utley, like a uh, you know, look, 16 years, a 38 WAR, two-time All-Star, an NLCS MVP, World Series, like, and like, 285 lifetime batting average. Like,
Yeah, he's a good
he
player.
yeah,
He's a good player.
yeah.
He's not Hall of Fame. He's not Hall of Fame by any stretch. You did mention Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt,
I
yes.
think he needs to put up a couple of more seasons. I think he needs to go somewhere, kind of reinvigorate his career, maybe just become a DH and put up a couple of more seasons because I think he's at like 330 homers lifetime. If he could get to 400, he's got a case.
Yeah. He's got 362.
Okay. All right.
And again, take WAR for what it's worth. His WAR is at 63 practically,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty high level. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think he can still get in. Look, yeah, if he can go somewhere and have a nice 2025 somewhere and solidify it, but I still think 2,000 hits with 362 home runs, and 169 stolen bases, lifetime 289 average.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a case there.
Yeah. I got Freddie Freeman on this list of keep going and you're in as well. I don't know if he was on that list.
Yep. So he's on my next bucket, which is the current player is currently on trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a long list. So we'll kind of chunk it up. Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to put in a few more years, but he's already got the Cy. He's got a couple of rings. He's right. He's got two. 17. No, he's only got the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's got none.
Oh, he wasn't on the 17 team. That's
No.
right.
No, he's got 0.
Oh, he's got no ring. That
He's got no
sucks.
rings. He's 6-time All-Star, 2-time ERA champ, and the Cy Young. 12 years so far, 153 in 80 record,
Yeah.
318 ERA, almost 2,000 strikeout, 2,000 innings pitched, and almost 2,300 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's on his way. He's on
Yeah,
his way. He might be the next 3,000 strikeout guy.
yeah, which we haven't seen in forever.
We haven't seen since CC
Yeah. Well, and Scherzer, and
and Verlander. Yeah.
Kershaw, and you're right. I think he's on that same path.
Yeah.
Then the next group of dudes I got. Okay, so Trey Turner, Marcus Semien, Jose Ramirez, Nolan Arenado.
Jose Ramirez is the only one in that I'm really sure is on that trajectory. Nolan Arenado's already on the backside of his career. Had a nice peak when he was in Colorado. Had he stayed there, maybe we're having a different conversation, though.
Yeah. I mean, but if you look at the numbers overall, like, again, a 56.7 WAR right now, 8-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove.
The Gold Gloves certainly help. The defense really helps his case.
And that doesn't matter where you play. Like, so I think he'll definitely, he's not going to be a one and done. Like, he's going to be on there for a few years.
No, I think so as well, but I don't think he's at the same trajectory that a Jose Ramirez is, because Ramirez is putting up stolen base numbers at a ridiculous clip as well, to where I think he's going to end up with like 350 by the time he's done. And that's a really difficult guy not to put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right now he's at 255 homers, 243 stolen bases.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. The next few are I think we're gonna say slam dunks. Okay. Judge, Trout, Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Harper.
Trout's got to get healthy and do some more shit. Otherwise, he's basically Sandy Koufax of the offense.
But I mean, and I've had this conversation with people. If he played no more game, if he didn't play a single game the rest of his life, I mean,
he might be a Hall of Famer, but like, what's his home run and stolen base total right now?
He's got 378 homers, 212 stolen bases, 86.2 WAR, 3-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger.
I didn't realize he was that close to 400 homers. That's pretty impressive, actually.
And a 299 career batting average. Like,
I mean, John Kruk hit 300 for his career.
Like, well, yeah, but for 14 seasons.
Yeah, John Kruk had a long career, buddy.
Did he really?
You should look up stupid ass John Kruk.
10 years. He played for 10 years.
Okay. To have a 300 batting average after a decade, that's pretty nice.
What 3,800 at bats, and Mike Trout has 5,500 at bats.
Okay,
I
fair enough.
think Trout's
Almost
in.
twice as much.
I think
Okay.
Trout's in. Yeah.
The other name, and it was right at the end. It was the last name I put on my lists as well. Is Bryce Harper. I hate to admit it, but yeah, he is
He,
really on his way.
he is. I mean, two-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, eight-time All-Star, three-time Silver Slugger, NLCS MVP, 336 homers, 140 stolen bases, a 281 batting average.
But no
Uh,
rings. No
no
rings.
rings, no rings. He's got no rings.
He's got
But
nothing.
I mean the numbers themselves just speak
Yeah.
for it.
An interesting one that you might have on your list, but you might not, is Giancarlo Stanton.
I have, I do. Yeah. We haven't gotten to him yet.
Okay.
So he's in this next bunch. So Manny Machado, Jose Altuve, Francisco Lindor, Giancarlo Stanton, Corey Seager, Christian Yelich. Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton and Jose Altuve are two guys that I have it as keep going and you're in. Right? Altuve, I think, could get to 3,000 hits, and that'll just be a shoe in for the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton's the interesting one. He might get to 500 homers.
He's at 429 right now.
I mean, he's got what, 5 years left at least?
Yeah.
How old is he? 34?
30. I think he just turned 35. Oh, he actually turned 35 in 2 days. So
Okay. So
he's
yeah,
going to 835 season.
yeah. If he could
Yeah.
have 3 or 4 more seasons, he could definitely get to 500 homers.
But, I mean, the last few years, he's been lucky to have, 100 games.
Hey, we got what, 120 out of him this year.
Yeah. 114.
114 games. All right. We can get that. You can hit 25 homers each of the next 3 years at 100 games a year.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make this happen.
If he gets 500, I think he's in.
Yeah.
Even if like his numbers are really good, it's been a rough time, just staying on the field. But no love for Lindor, huh?
Not yet. Not yet. He really needs to have a couple of more. He's only what, 30?
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, we've got a while before we start thinking about Lindor's case for the Hall.
All
You
right, here's
mentioned
one.
Corey Seager. I actually had a conversation with Ben. We were talking about Kyle Seager. He's not a Hall of Famer, but
no, I think he's
nice career.
But Corey Seager, he's got a lot of trophies.
2 rings, 2 MVPs in the World Series.
Rookie of the Year, 5-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And him also, like he's still young. He just also needs to stay on the field.
Corey Seager.
He's he'll turn 31 next season.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in the, not the same
right
boat.
at 200 homers and 18 whole stolen bases in his career.
Yeah.
He's got work to do. He's got to put in another half a career, basically.
Right. Yeah. Like at least another 5-6 seasons, and he needs to stay healthy. That would have been a problem for him.
If he could stay healthy for a full season, he could be a league MVP.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this second hernia surgery that he just had, I don't know how healthy he's going to be for next season.
I mean, he finished as a runner-up to the MVP in 2023, playing only 119 games. So imagine what he does, right, in 150 games.
Right. That's right.
The next two I think are interesting. JT Realmuto and Salvador Perez.
Sal Perez is definitely on his way. I would venture a guess that he might already have put enough in to be in the Hall of Fame, but I'll have to take a look at
9-time All-Star. He's got a ring, 5 Gold Gloves, 4 Silver Sluggers, and the World Series MVP. 273 home runs, a 267 lifetime average. And again, all as a catcher, mostly as a catcher.
Yeah, and he's got a really nice case, especially if he puts up another couple of years where he gets an all-star nod or a silver slugger at catcher or something.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like he would become like a sleeper pick. Like Joe Mauer, kind of
Mhm.
in that
Man, what is your hate for Joe Mauer?
I don't know.
You just don't like that Joe Mauer got into the Hall of Fame.
I was surprised. I was surprised at a first ballot. I just I know he had a great career
Mhm.
and he probably belongs in there. I just thought, I was surprised that he went in so fast.
Arguably one of the best hitting catchers of all time.
Yeah, yes, arguably.
Arguably and one of. I'm not putting him over Piazza by any question.
Yeah, yeah. All right, this is the last bunch.
Okay.
Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Chris Sale, I mentioned in the other bucket, and Jacob deGrom.
DeGrom, I don't think has got the longevity to make it happen. I mean, if he's in, then you're talking like Corey Kluber's in, and Tim Lincecum is in, and Barry Zito is in, and these guys are not. They're not it.
I want to see. I'm gonna bring up Sandy Koufax's number. Could you mention Koufax? And I like
Mhm.
that. I like that. Right. So he pitched 12 seasons. Degrom is an 11. Degrom has a 45.2 WAR. Koufax had a 48.9. 165 wins, 276 ERA for Koufax. DeGrom is at 84 wins, 252 ERA. But remember though, he was on such bad Mets teams. He would go what, seven
No.
innings? He would go 7 innings and give up 1 run and get a loss.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No. He's got 84 wins across 11 years, man.
That's not his fault though.
I
Wins.
know it's not his fault, but at the same time, like you can't put a dude in a Hall of Fame who ain't even won 100 games.
Well, he's not retired yet.
He might as well be. He hasn't pitched in God knows how long.
Two-time Cy Young, Rookie
Where
of the Year, four-time All-Star, ERA champ.
what kind of faith do you have that 2025 is going to be healthy and successful for Jacob deGrom?
I have to see how it goes. But he's only how old is he?
35, 36?
He's 36.
Okay. He wasn't young when he started, and he's
Yeah.
put in 11 years. Like he's gonna be wrapping this up here shortly, and if he gets to 110 wins, it'll be a whole fucking lot.
So if but like so 11 seasons of DeGrom, and most of it was dominance.
Mm-hmm.
12 seasons of Buster Posey. Is it because Buster Posey was a catcher?
Yes, and he played every day, and he caught
Okay.
5 different
Okay.
pitchers with 5 different repertoires and a bullpen, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, like the accolades are all pretty consistent. The length of career is consistent, and the peak is consistent.
And
So
Buster Posey won 3 rings.
the Giants won 3 rings.
Yes, with Buster Posey as the centerpiece of that franchise.
It's not DeGrom's fault that he played on shitty Mets teams.
No, it's not. It's a circumstance of his career. Sorry, it's not a Hall of Fame career. It's a really nice career, and he will be going down as one of the best pitchers of all time in Mets history and retire his number 48. But it'll be hanging right next to number 5 in the Mets Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
guys who just couldn't make it.
Yeah. I have Andrew
Um,
McCutchen as a guy who's not quite there either.
I have Andrew McCutchen, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, George Springer, and Chris Bryant.
Oh, Chris Bryant. What a sad,
Yeah.
sad situation that is, man. Rookie of the year and MVP in the first 2 years. You're like, yeah, he's on his way. He's on his way. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then now he's a Colorado albatross. Worth $100-something million over the next decade or whatever.
Playing 20 games a year.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Andrew McCutchen, an MVP, but he's just another really nice player. Like he's Reggie Sanders. He's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he won't go away. Like he keeps on playing.
No, he's doing great, but he's not going to get to 3,000 hits. He's not going to
Right.
he's not going to break a doubles record or anything. It's just a really nice career.
Yeah.
And I'm rocking a Pittsburgh jersey today.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So then I had that's my last bucket is I'm calling it too soon to tell. Like guys who are like still really like below 10 years of a career, is how I classified it. So we have guys like Vlad Jr., Tatis Jr., Witt Jr.,
Acuna Jr.
Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
The
four
yes,
juniors.
I do have him, but I kind of grouped these three together. Acuna is like it's weird because like again the ACLs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He's got another at least decade ahead of him to tell, but having these kind of injuries this early on in his career, he could be Grady Sizemore.
Yeah, with an MVP.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Vlad, Tatis, and Witt, and Witt's only got 3 seasons, so it's really hard to really peg him yet. But Vlad and Tatis, I think, are kind of on the trajectory. I know Tatis has the PED stigma, so we'll see what that does.
He probably doesn't make it. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
he probably doesn't make it because of that. I mean, guys like Ryan Braun weren't as talented as Tatis is, but here we are. Manny's not getting in, A-Rod's not getting in, and we just like glossed over those two enormous names when we were talking about them earlier. We were just like, yep, those guys aren't getting in. We just move on because as far as we can tell, if you get suspended for PEDs, you can kiss your Hall of Fame credentials goodbye.
Yeah, yeah. It's a never-ending argument. I've always said, I can take all the PEDs in the world and I still can't hit a curveball. But I understand that, the Hall of Fame is sacred ground and you don't. But okay, so my next bunch on this bucket: Kyle Tucker, Austin Riley, Zach Gallen, Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, those are 4 more really early on in their career names. Pete's an interesting one as well. How many homers does he have in his career? It's got to be close to 200 now.
It's 226.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on his way.
Right?
And he's only 30.
He's only 30.
He's got at least another 7. He's going to get at least a 6 or 7 year deal right now.
Right. So you figure, if it's 30 home runs a year, even if it's 25 home runs a year, like
that's another 175 home runs to add to his total. That gets him to 400 right there.
Yeah. Yeah. He could push 500.
He could definitely push 500. He could definitely push 500.
Yordan Alvarez.
Another really interesting name. He's certainly got the makeup to be a Hall of Fame player. He reminds me so much of David Ortiz.
Yeah. Yeah. Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, World Series, Silver Slugger, ALCS MVP. He's got 164 home runs so far in 6 seasons. Again, health. You gotta stay on the field.
Gotta stay healthy. Well, with the DH now, I mean, he doesn't really have to stay on the field. He just has to stay in the lineup.
Well, yes, that's true. Okay, his probably former teammate Alex Bregman.
Not gonna make it.
2-time All-Star, 2 rings, a Silver Slugger, a lifetime 272 average. Yeah.
What's his lifetime average?
272.
That's better than I thought it was gonna be, but yeah, I don't think so. I think the Hall of Famer from this dynasty is Altuve.
Yeah.
Altuve, Verlander, probably Cole, but not Bregman.
Not Bregman. I think Juan Soto is a slam dunk.
Yes, so long as he stays healthy and is here for the next 15 years.
Um, Cody Bellinger,
No.
MVP. It's funny. It's
He
almost like
falls into the Chris Bryant category,
I
right?
was just going there, but like he's at least shown a rebound rather than while Chris Bryant hasn't. Um, he's up to 200, almost 200 home runs in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
MVP, Rookie of the Year, 2-time All Star, a ring, a Gold Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger.
Yeah,
Um,
he's so much better than his dad.
yes, he has that going for him. Um, okay. And then I finish it up with Logan Webb, Manuel Clase, and Edwin Diaz.
I mean, Diaz and Class A have to stick around for a long time. They have to have careers like Kimbrel and Jansen. They've got
Yeah.
to stick. They've got to keep consistency. And I don't know that Edwin Diaz has the makeup to become a Hall of Fame closer.
I know. It's grimacing. Haha.
Hmm?
But I mean, he's shown glimpses of it.
How many saves does he have in his career? I know he led the league in saves one
225.
year. 225. I mean, my feeling is he has to get to 400. That's a lot to ask for on a dude that who knows, like he could lose all of his marbles and be, I don't know, who's another guy who throws really hard that lost it.
Aroldis Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman has a better Hall of Fame
No.
shot than he does right now.
Um, Look, he's 30.
He's got an opt out after 26, and he's a full free agent after 27 if the club doesn't pick up his option.
So, baseball reference. So you look at their similarity scores. Similar pitches through age 30 include guys like Rob Nen, John Wetland, Armando Benitez, Troy Percival,
Those are not Hall of Fame names.
Trevor
Those are
Hoffman.
good. Those are
Trevor
good
Hoffman is on
closers.
that list.
Okay, those are good closers. Like Rob Nen was a good closer. It does not mean he belongs in any Hall of Fame. No offense to Rob Nen if you're listening.
Um, did you have any more active guys you wanted to discuss?
Let me see. I had Steven Strasburg on my list here.
Uh,
Right, that's an interesting name.
that's a sad case.
Right, isn't it? I mean,
I don't. If we're saying DeGrom is not getting in, I don't see how Strasburg gets in.
no, I don't think he gets in either. But I think he was worth at least mentioning. You know,
Oh,
he
sure,
was
yeah.
such a dynamic dude, and 113 wins. He's got plenty more than DeGrom, but a 3.24 ERA is over his career is really nice. 13 seasons. Thought
Yeah,
that was a.
finishing the top 5 Cy
I
Young
mean,
voting twice.
is Scherzer the only Hall of Famer from the 2019 team?
Not Patrick Corbin,
Certainly not.
not Anthony
Certainly
Rendon.
not. Certainly not.
I mean Trey Turner,
Right? Not
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. Certainly not Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah. Um, Not Sean Doolittle.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Not Daniel Hudson who closed it out. No.
No. Yeah. It's Scherzer and Soto.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, this Dodgers dynasty is going to be littered with dudes: Freeman and Betts and Otani and Clayton Kershaw, and I mean, it's been one after another.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always think back on those legendary teams. Like, okay, who is the Hall of Famer from this era of teams? And yeah, you mentioned Aaron Judge. Like, he's certainly on the path as well for this Yankees run.
Yeah.
But there's an awful long stretch of Yankees time, like after the '09 season until Aaron Judge comes along, where it's just CC.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't, what? I can't even really think of anybody like Brett Gardner.
Yeah, it's not going to be Brett Gardner.
Right.
If Brett Gardner ends up in Monument Park, I'm going to be pissed. So help me if Brett Gardner ends up in Monument Park.
So I did have one other guy to mention.
Yes.
And he currently has a lifetime ban. His name is Pete Rose.
I mean, if they weren't going to do it when he was alive,
because he had a lifetime ban, his life is over. So put him in the Hall of Fame. Be done with it.
Put the all-time hit king in the Hall of Fame.
It is a travesty. It's an absolute travesty that he's not in the Hall of Fame. I'm sticking my foot in the sand.
Why? Because he holds a record.
Not just a record, but he's the all-time hits leader. Like if hits is a thing that people care about, and he has the most of them.
Home runs is a thing, right? People care about. Walks is a thing.
Yeah, but he didn't inject.
RBIs is a thing.
Yeah, but he didn't inject.
No, he bet on baseball. He bet on his own team.
So he didn't cheat.
Jason Ashby. Jason Ashby. Where do you guys stand on this? Let us know. Is Pete Rose deserve to be in the Hall of Fame despite betting on baseball? I think I might be in the minority among some people, but I just can't see it. I just can't.
I mean, 24 years. Forget the hits. 24 years, 3,500 games played. Like,
yeah, that's Craig Biggio,
who's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, Craig Biggio didn't bet on baseball.
That you know of.
That I am. Are you accusing Craig Biggio? Oh my goodness. Jason, this has been a ton of fun. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely, dude. Talking baseball with you is always a treat, and definitely looking forward to doing more of these throughout the offseason.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about news and notes for as soon as people start signing. We're going to be jumping on here with shows. Our rankings are coming. I know guys are excited for that. But for right now, it might be a little bit quiet as we wait for winter meetings and guys to start signing. I did see Kyle Hendricks signed with the Angels. So
yeah, he did. Yeah,
there you go. That's the big signing for the Los Angeles Angels rotation this year.
Their winner is done.
They're done. They traded Griffin Canning and replaced him with Kyle Hendricks.
And they got Jorge Soler.
And crowded their outfield situation with a big bat of Jorge Soler. Seriously, what are they going to do? They got Mike Trout, Taylor Ward, Joe Adell, Mickey Moniak, and now Jorge Soler. That's a problem.
Yeah, problem. That's the Angels.
That's the Angels.
By the way, they still have Anthony. Do they still have Anthony Rendon?
Of course, they still have Anthony Rendon. They have Anthony Rendon until like 29.
God.
At $35 million a year.
Ugh.
It is so gross. That team is a joke. Guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. And it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.